Hi everyone, this is Adrian.
And I'm Carrie.
And for this episode, we are going to talk about scents and the seasons they belong to. Some fragrances are really good for warm weather, like summer, and some fragrances work really well during cold weather, like winter.
And some
scents,
work year round.
yes, definitely. Tell us more about it.
Okay, so if you're starting out a fragrance collection, one of the things that you want to think about is unless you live someplace where the weather is the same all year round,
Like
and
the
there
tropics.
are a few places like that.
Yes.
Yep. Then you probably have to think about at least having a few different scents that work well depending on the weather. Warm weather, cool weather, and then any occasion could be your three that you start out with if you just have to have three. So cool weather, warm weather, and then any occasion is what we're going to talk about today. So let's start off with warm weather fragrances. And what's one of our favorites?
Light Blue Forever by Dolce & Gabbana.
Dolce & Gabbana. This one has grapefruit, bergamot, ozone, violet leaf, vetiver, musk, and patchouli. And it's a really nice fragrance for warm weather, anywhere from warm-ish to pretty warm. The fruity notes on the top, the grapefruit for sure lasts a long time. The middle fragrances, the middle notes and the lower notes tend to hang around for a good 4 hours or more, sometimes longer, depending on how heavy you spray and how hot the weather is. This one is great for warm weather, not so much in cool weather because the notes just don't really come through. The one thing about this to watch out for is some people don't like the grapefruit note. It smells kind of sour to them and they misinterpret it as BO. I don't see how you can do that because grapefruit never smells like BO to me. This one smells like a real fresh, like you just tore open a grapefruit.
Yes.
What do you think about this one?
Well, this one of the first few fragrances I tested on me, and I really like it during summer. Cooler weather is about to come, and we've been talking about summer fragrances, and I really like this fragrance a lot. And there are some other fragrances that we could talk about that's about warm weather.
Right. And one of the things I'm going to try to do is to tie together some things about the notes and stuff that make warm weather fragrances good for warm weather, not so great for other weathers. What's the next one on our list?
Okay, this one is by Polo.
Polo Black. This one has mango, tangerine, lemon, sage, wormwood, sandalwood, patchouli, and tonka. This one is actually surprising for the way it's packaged. You would almost think this is a winter fragrance, wouldn't you? With it black.
Yeah, with being black, I assume lighter colors and transparent.
Yeah, but
bottles are summer.
Polo just kind of does their own thing, I guess, with this one. It surprised me. But the top is mango, tangerine, and lemon, so definitely fruity.
Yeah.
You haven't tried this one, I don't think, have you?
No. Now I'm very interested.
I have, and it's a light fragrance. I haven't really worn it out in warm weather very much, but it's light. It's definitely one for kind of overspraying. The base, the sandalwood, patchouli, and tonka is sweet and light, and you don't really notice it until the fruitier notes go away. But this one is really nice in warm weather, and I think the warmer the weather, the more the interesting notes at the bottom come out. If it's cool weather, you really don't notice much about this one, and it seems to fade away pretty quickly. When I've tried it on inside in the air conditioning, I don't really pick up a lot of scent from it, but when I've put it on and been outside, I've noticed it more.
Oh, all right. I definitely want to try this if the weather's still warm.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to our last
one of my favorites.
Yes.
Creed Neroli Sauvage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me about this one. You liked this one a lot.
Yes, because it's a very beautiful Neroli fragrance. Neroli is the flower of bitter orange, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's different from like the orange fruit. It still smells orangey, but you know, it smells sophisticated and lasts long enough, quite actually pleasant.
Yeah.
You know?
It has a softness. I would almost say powderiness, but it's not really powdery in a strong way. It's kind of more just like flower petals, which is what it is. This one has a very simple note breakdown. It's bergamot, grapefruit, verbena, neroli, and ambergris. And the grapefruit and bergamot in the top is really subtle. It's not a tart grapefruit, and it's not really a strong bergamot. Maybe almost like when you open an Earl Grey tea bag or something, the bergamot that you smell from that. And then the verbena and neroli is what I get most from this. And those notes tend to go away really quickly, but in this one you found what? How long did it stick around for you?
Stick around for like, if you spray this, say 8 sprays, definitely 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know, so
And that's
8 sprays around you, not like 8 sprays in one area, definitely not
right,
like that.
right. This one, the reason this one sticks around is because of the ambergris. It's a natural occurring substance, a note that they use that doesn't itself smell all that much. It has sort of some C notes to it. But it helps to hold on to some of the really volatile, easily evaporated notes that go away quickly and helps them to linger around. The result being that they kind of linger close to you and there's not as much of a scent trail. But it's a very beautiful fragrance.
Yes, very beautiful. Lush.
So, right, just to recap then and line up the few that we were talking about here. These all have in common that they're fruity in the top notes. The middle notes are somewhat like delicate and floral, and then the bottom is usually something that is either sort of lightly woody or earthy smelling like patchouli, vetiver, or sandalwood and tonka. Something that helps to kind of anchor a little bit of the other fruity fragrances and give it something other than just a fruit basket smell to it, but still lets it be sort of light. And then but it most of these compared to other things are going to be short lasting. This one lasts longer than the other two, but overall these scents they go away in a much shorter period of time than some of the colder weather fragrances. So now let's talk about some fragrances that are good for any time of the year.
All right, so let's start off with Y by YSL.
Right, and this one in particular is the EDP version, the Eau de Parfum version. This one has apple, ginger, bergamot, sage, juniper, geranium, vetiver, amberwood, tonka, cedar, and olibanum, which is kind of an incensey type of a note. This one, if you had to think of a color for this fragrance, what would it be?
Blue.
Right, it's blue. And
the bottle itself, if you see by the light, it has a blue hue to it. It's not like completely black.
Right. Yeah, the liquid inside of it is clear, but this is a classic blue fragrance. And I had to actually really kind of work at it a little bit for the next couple in this category not to also be blue fragrances. What was another one you could almost bet that I was thinking of throwing in here?
Terre.
No, I mean another blue fragrance though.
Lacoste.
Sauvage.
Sauvage. A Sauvage has been around.
Yeah, everybody does Sauvage, but I thought, oh, let's do something a little bit different. So this one has like a nice fruity opening, but not quite as summer fruity as the others. Apples, of course, are kind of a fall fruit. The ginger gives it a little bit of a sparkle in your nose without having to use ambroxan, sort of like maybe a little bit of a cola type of an essence when you're drinking a cola in a glass and you get that fizziness sort of. The other notes help to give it sort of a, maybe like a woody, sort of a dried, herbal sort of a sense and stuff that helps to keep things around. But this one is great for all year around. You can wear it in warm weather, don't spray it quite as much. You can wear it in colder weather, spray it a little bit more. And it really works well in pretty much any and all occasions. So if you had to grab just one fragrance to take with you and you weren't sure what the weather was going to be, where you were going or something, this could be a what they call a dumb grab. It's
Yes.
just easy to take and go with you, and it'll work.
It'll work.
I usually always carry this one with me when I travel because it's always a people pleaser. It offends nobody, and it's easy to use.
Nice.
So let's go on to our next one.
This one, how do you pronounce it? Egoist?
Egoist.
Egoist by Chanel.
Yeah. So this one is definitely a classic. This one comes from back in the 80s. It has mandarin, coriander, rosewood, mahogany as top notes, and cinnamon, rose, carnation for middle notes, and then sandalwood, tobacco, vanilla, leather, and amber in the base. So it's got a lot of nice sophisticated smells without being overly heavy. For some people, this could be more of a cool weather fragrance, but because of the lighter top notes and the carnation and stuff and rose in the middle, it really helps to tip it into the all year long sort of a fragrance. This one is one that I have liked for a long time. I wore it a long time ago, and then I redeveloped an interest in it recently, and I like the formulation that they have now. Something in my mind tells me that the old formulation was had a little bit more potency to it, but who knows? That was a lot of years ago, and I'm just relying on my memory of it. Have you tried this one?
Nope, and I'm curious to try.
Yeah, this one is a great one. It's very classy, definitely kind of a dress-up fragrance, not nearly as much of a sort of a casual fragrance, but it certainly can be. This one just has a sort of a classiness to it from the blend and stuff and how everything goes together in a really sort of a sophisticated sort of a way. It's a really nice cologne. If there's anything I would say about this one is I wish they would update the bottle a little bit. It's pretty plain for a Chanel and as the price category that this falls into. But hey, it's really what's inside that counts, right?
No. No, sometimes it's not. Sometimes the bottle
Sometimes
really adds
right.
to it.
Yeah, when people come up to you and it's like, oh, that's a nice bottle you're wearing,
No.
right?
No, but it comes with experience. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about
That's
bottles
right.
and
We
why
are gonna
bottles
talk about
are
bottles
important.
and why
But
bottles are
next
important.
one we're gonna talk about
Yep, and
is our favorite Terre by Hermes.
Terre d'Hermes. Now, this one, we had talked about it back during our kind of run of summer scents or warm weather scents. And I started thinking about it later, and I thought, when I first got this, it was a cold weather period. And I'm not talking about just this bottle, but this fragrance in general. It's been out for a while, and I wore it in cold weather. I wore it in warm weather, and I was like, it really is more of an all year round sort of a scent. It definitely has some things that makes it appropriate for warm weather. The top is orange and grapefruit. The middle has pepper, flint, and pelargonium, which is a type of a flower. Flint is a rock, so I'm not really sure why they say it's flint. It really has more of a smell of something earthy and maybe metallic, but I guess they're thinking when you strike flint or something like that, the sort of that smell that it has, it's hard to describe it. But when you smell Terre d'Hermes, you'll know it has an earthiness and maybe something kind of not smoky, but almost kind of like I don't know, something I guess that could be flinty in its smell.
So this is kind of a hybrid because it's got like the orangey smells, but also has like the cooler weather fragrance.
Right. And the orange in this is not a like Minute Maid orange juice type of a smell. It is actually a more of a bitter orange smell, and maybe one that's almost a slightly over-ripened type of an orange, something that has like when orange juice has been out in the warm a little too long, where it smells like it's almost starting to become sort of like an alcohol type of a smell to it. Not to put off that it smells bad that way. It smells actually really good and really unique. Some people call it a sort of a dirty smell to it. I don't think of it like that. I think of it more as like an earthy harvest sort
See,
of a
that's
smell.
the thing, is because it's orange and it's earthy, that it's kind of like a blend of warm weather and cooler weather.
Yeah. So it always makes me think a little bit of summer, a little bit of fall to it. I don't know that I'd really call it like a winter type of a scent, but I think you could probably get away with that because the bottom notes have vetiver, cedar, patchouli, and benzoin, which when the fruitier notes die down, and they do last a long time, you're left with this nice sort of incensey, rich sort of a smell to it, and the patchouli is really nice in it. So all of these scents that we talked about for any weather,
I would call them dumb grabs.
dumb grabs, yeah. Basically anytime you could grab them, they work for most all occasions.
You don't want to think,
Yeah.
just grab it.
Yeah, you're probably not going to offend anybody with any of these, and you will get some positive comments from people if they come in close for a hug or something like that. But yeah, these are all really nice, and they don't require that it be really cool or really warm outside for the notes to work.
Yeah, but
Now,
now for
let's moving on to cooler weather.
And this is something that you like to wear a lot.
This is one that I have really been waiting on the cool weather to start up so that I can wear it more often. I pulled it out about a week or so ago, and about how hot was it that day?
Oh my God, super hot. There was a heat wave.
And yet I still wanted to wear it. So
because it's air conditioned.
yes. So this is Margiela Red Tobacco. This one is a little bit controversial with some people. They don't like the strong opening notes on it. It really comes through with a sort of a real pipe tobacco sort of a smell right off at first. Not a dry leafy tobacco, but something that's kind of like a boozy tobacco, like a cherry pipe tobacco. I like it, and that's one of the reasons why I got it, was because of that particular smell to it. But I will say it has a tamer side to it after about 30 minutes when it's dried down a little bit.
Guess what?
What?
When the weather's cooler, we'll do an appreciation video of this
Yeah.
one because I really want to try this, but I'm still waiting for the weather to be really cooler.
Right. This one lasts a long time. Now that's the thing about all of these that are the cooler weather fragrances. These all last a long time. While the warm weather fragrances, 2 to 4 hours, then you need to respray, or you just need to spray really heavy at first and you're going to choke some people out. The other ones you can kind of go pretty even most of the year around, and they have a nice even sort of a scent to them. Maybe go a little lighter in the warm weather.
So don't go heavy on these because they will
heavy.
perform.
Yeah, these definitely are performers. The red tobacco has cinnamon, oud, saffron, incense, nutmeg, green apple, and white pear as top notes. So it's a lot of stuff going on there. It's a little syrupy, kind of a sweetness to it, but it has a lot of these sorts of smells of like cooler weather and fall to it. It has middle notes of patchouli and jasmine. Of course, jasmine is not a wintry note, but it's a nice smell all year round anyway. In the base, though, it has these long-lasting tobacco, vanilla, amber, guaiac wood, which is kind of another way of saying oud, sandalwood, musk, and vetiver. So a lot of kind of spicy fall notes and stuff, some really rich smells that linger around. This one will definitely last you all day. I think this is an easy 8 to 12 hours on most people. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Oh, this one I'm currently wearing because I want to try a new fragrance for the cooler weather. I've been trying summer fragrances too frequently because it's been hot, but I made an exception today. It's not particularly cold outside, but this smells like a showroom of cars, and you are sitting inside where it's all leather.
So this one in particular, Bulgari Man Black Orient. Bulgari has a series. The bottles all look kind of like this. Some of them are clear, some of them are black. This one is a golden tint to the metallic part of it. This one is the Black Orient, and I think this one may be discontinued, but you can still find it here and there in some discounters and on eBay. This one is actually worth a premium. This one, of all the Bulgari Man and Man in Black series, is a really great smell to it. It's a kind of a simple note breakdown, but it's really rich and definitely a fall fragrance. It has rum and cardamom in the top, so it's nice and spicy and boozy. Then it has a sort of an oriental rose called Taif Rose and Tuberose for middle, so it's soft and flowery, but also very rich and sweet. And then has leather and oud in the base notes. So I can definitely see where you think you're in a really nice car showroom and sitting in a nice leather interior of a car. The leather and the oud in this definitely come through. The cardamom and the rum come through, and they don't, even though they're their top notes, they stick around for a good long time. And it has that nice kind of spicy oriental smell from the cardamom, and then the sort of the rich, sophisticated, boozy smell from the rum notes in it. This one is definitely a great one if you can find it. I don't usually like to put discontinued ones in here, but this is such a perfect example of a winter scent.
You should find it. Find it.
Yeah, if you can find it on eBay, it's definitely worth having, depending on what your price point is. And last,
we have Replica, which isn't a replica. It's the name of the company that produces this scents.
Well, the house is Maison Margiela, and they make other things other than just fragrances. But this line of fragrances that they make is called Replica.
So I was wrong. It was not a company.
Well, it's the line of fragrances.
Okay.
The Maison Margiela, they have a really unique sort of a way of packaging it here to make it look sort of like, you know, it came from a old-time apothecary or something like that. It looks very simple and like that there's a typed label to it. These started out about maybe 15 or so years ago as a sort of an artsy type of a fragrance where the scents are supposed to make you think of a situation. This one is called By the Fireplace.
Oh.
So definitely would make one think of cooler times of the year, probably, you know, in a nice snowy setting or something.
Roasting marshmallows.
Yeah, maybe chestnuts, things like that. All those wintry smells that you think of from Thanksgiving on through Christmas and New Year's.
Can't wait to try this fragrance.
This one is awesome. This one is a pretty popular one amongst fragrance enthusiasts. It is, the notes in it are clove, pink pepper, and orange blossom for top notes. So imagine that kind of that nice orange flowery smell with the spiciness there. Then in middle notes, and this sticks around a long time, and this is what a lot of people love about this one, is chestnut.
Chestnut.
Yep, chestnut. And then it also has gaiac wood, which is, like I said, it's another kind of a take on oud, juniper, and then in the base it has vanilla, cashmeran, which is a synthetic note that smells kind of like cashmere wool, like if you can think of a nice cashmere sweater. And then Peru balsam, which is a sort of a smooth, silky, woody sort of a smell. So this reminds me of sitting by like the fireplace and smelling somebody smoking like a pipe or something, and maybe chestnuts roasting on an open fire, or somebody baking cookies or something like that. It just has all these wonderful scents that smell like holidays and cool weather and
stuff.
Oh my
God, makes me think of like Christmas now.
Yeah, so definitely a scent that's very popular in cooler weather. This would not be one that I would try pulling off during the summertime because the notes can just be overpowering, all that sweet, spicy sorts of smells and stuff. But it's definitely a nice cool weather fragrance. So putting back the 3 for cooler weather, the thing that these all have in common is that they last a long time, and their notes are these rich, spicy sorts of almost gourmand or like food type, yummy food types of notes. And so these definitely bring into mind, just from the smells, that it's supposed to be cooler weather. So there you have it. The takeaway from this is summertime, you're going to have more like fresh, fruity, tropical sorts of things with like leafy and watery notes to them. They don't last a long time, but they won't choke you out and stuff and be too cloying. The winter fragrances like this last a long time. And then the any time of the year fragrances are pretty much perfect for any occasion and, you know, are dumb grabs.
All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a comment and like and subscribe. Take care. Bye.
Bye.